Hello and welcome to another episode of the Drop In CEO podcast. I'm Deb Coviello, your host, and grateful as always for you to have joined me, whether you are a returning listener or a new listener. Just thank you. Thank you for dropping in. This is going to be an amazing conversation. Now, each week, week after week, I try to provide you some of my personal experiences, experiences from others that help you move through life, move through your career, because at the end of the day, I just want you to struggle less. And as always, I say, spend more time with friends, family, and community. And I too have made some pivots, some changes here that are going to be part of today's theme because as we move into the end of the year, I've been talking about such things as gratitude, reducing stress, predicting outcomes, but it's all in the context of just putting a little bit more control and structure over uncertainty. And at the end of the day, I just want you to enjoy life. Really, this is what I am really all about. It's not about working harder, working smarter. Yes, working smarter is important, but again, the outcome is really to enjoy life. That's what I am. And if you know me, you know I just want to finish up here doing this recording for you so I can get ready to relax a little bit and go curling with my husband. And if you haven't heard about curling, reach out to me. I am happy to share, or I can give you an entire show, a solo episode about the sport of curling. But a quick story. This is just happening even today about somebody I know from a client that I'm serving who we've had a conversation about a particular project. And this project has been very, very, very challenging. It's costing a lot of money, expending lots and lots of resources. And at the end of the day, when I was trying to help my clients solve this particular tricky problem, they actually said, we're probably going to make a pivot on this and we're going to go down one of three different paths because what we're doing is no longer working. And I could see in the eyes of this individual that they were a little sad or a little thoughtful, but mustering up the courage and the confidence to realize that moving in a new direction is the best for individuals and the organization. And that's hard sometimes for leaders to be able to pivot and move in another direction. Now, on a personal note, and this has been really, really, really hard for me and talk to my husband and talk to my coach, to be able to look at what's ahead of me. What would I have the energy to actually do? And what changes might I need to make? Again, at first you feel bad, but at the other end of the spectrum, you are completely liberated by making these decisions. So, a little bit of a change on my side. I do put out a lot, a lot of written content, and you hear my voice week after week. But I think that there is an opportunity in video. So I will be making a minor change. A lot of these solo episodes are going to start making their way up to the platform, up to the cloud. You're going to start seeing some of these solos and some of my clips in video because I think that's going to be a stronger message to be able to connect with people in all forms, whether I put my content out in written form, in audio form that you're listening to right now, but then the video content I think is also important that I haven't tapped. So a bit of a pivot there. I am also making, sadly enough, a short slowdown in writing my book. Now, just know every solo episode that I do this year actually is going to be part of the book. So I'm going to slow down a little bit, finish out the year recording these solo episodes, and perhaps come January, pick up all the great pieces of insight that I've been providing you and distill them down into a message called The Secrets of the C-Suite. And so it will come out in 2024, but I had to pivot a little bit and slow down. I've also stepped down from a couple volunteer organizations. I love the people, I love the organizations, but I don't want to be in a leadership role anymore. And I delayed doing this because I didn't want to disappoint people. But at the end of the day, I needed to make the change, and everybody is grateful for the work that I've done, and no harm has been done. And so, why am I sharing this all with you? Sometimes at the last minute, we have to change course in order to get a better outcome. And so often we don't have that courage to pivot and rather we would drive work through the work in something that no longer serves. When we have to make the hard decision to let go and move in another direction, it is challenging. We need to step back in order to move forward and get a better outcome. Sometimes we are just too much in the weeds and we're unable to see whether we are or are not making an impact. But sometimes we simply need to stop certain work, delay other work, and know that eventually we'll get to it later or maybe not at all. And that's really, really, really hard. So, really, where I want to bring this is that final lap, that things that we want to get done at the end of the year or in our roadmap. Sometimes we have to pivot and some of the things that we have to think about because I know sometimes we feel bad. We take these personal because we take personal accountability for the outcome. But there is greater strength in being able to reflect on what we're doing and to be able to pivot with justification and not feel guilty or bad about it. So we haven't done anything wrong. And I just want you to know that the crime is that when we don't slow down and assess, we just keep moving in the same direction. It could be that making small changes will save the end of the year or what you're trying to do and maybe revise the course in the coming year. Again, there's no shame here. There's no failure. You learn something in the process. And I'll tell you, 2 weekends ago, my daughter was home from school and she had this project that she got all the individual materials and she tried once and she tried twice and asked for help. And then she tried a third time and says, that's it. And she had the courage to stop. She threw all the materials away, says, I am going to restart this. Now, what she finally designed, again, she's an architecture student, was so beautiful. She did feel a little bit bad in the process, but she says, I feel even better for stopping. And in the end, she got the desired outcome. And I'm so proud of her. It also reduces stress in the end, knowing that you have control of your destiny when you pivot. And also, it is an act of leadership to chart a new course. So, if this is you, but you're not sure how to slow down the train and regroup, let me share with you a framework that will showcase your brave leadership. And sometimes it's greater than the ones. It's great. It's of great cause. And ultimately, you do want to be respected, even if you fall short in the outcomes for this current year. And perhaps a performance review is a little less than what you prefer. What you learn and apply in the following year is the greater outcome. And so, in a moment, I'm going to give you a framework or some well placed questions for you to think about. So, in terms of a framework, again, nobody can tell you exactly what to do when it comes to your priorities of what you're doing, what you can achieve, where do you need to pivot. But I am going to ask you a few questions first before I provide you a few tips. So, again, get ready for that pen, paper, electronic device. It's now time to internalize some of the things that I'm sharing with you. And could you apply it to yourself? And by the way, if there's somebody in your network that is struggling with these challenges and you know they need to pivot, you might want to share this show with them. So here's some questions I want you to think about. Are you getting the results you desire? Are you getting the results? You might want to have to suck it up and say, hey, I've got to stop. I've just got to stop and regroup. I want you to ask yourself also, how are you feeling about the results or not getting the results? Are you just feeling stressed? Are you feeling a little less than accomplished? And then start asking you such things as what should I continue? What should I start doing to get things done? Or what should I change to get the outcome or maybe even a new outcome? Quite frankly, what should I stop and regroup? Again, you got to ask yourself those questions when we are caught in a hamster wheel and we keep doing, and not thinking. Again, we are humans. We are not robots. We should think about what we do because, again, there is no shame in regrouping and pivoting on what we do and what we don't do. So, what I propose to you, and again, think about this as a framework. It's not the end all be all. Put it on the whiteboard, on a post it note, but capture these three columns or three topics to parse out or organize your work. What should you continue? What should you start doing? Or what should you change or stop? Whatever makes sense to you. Now, in terms of continue, if you continue, what are the most important deliverables for you for the end of the year? Being behind on a deliverable and where to get help or delay or prioritize this for the better outcome is the best thing you can do. And sometimes using some time blocking can be your best friend. Again, get very clear on if you got 10 things to get done, what are the top three? And plan out what you might reschedule or not even do at all. Think about if you want to start doing. So those things that you want to start doing might be just a short correction, might be maybe changing the scope of a particular project. Write that down. What are the steps that you need to do to maybe further enhance those three things that you want to continue? Could it be shopping around for a slightly different idea with a stakeholder and then get their input and run with it? Again, you could be stuck on a project, but it is high profile, but maybe you don't have enough resources or input to give you that aha moment to say, I can run with this and be successful. Again, a small pivot, but leverage your network. And also think about those things in the column of what should you stop doing or maybe make a change. Qualify the risk of continuing or the opportunity of maybe making a change, delaying, or even canceling an activity. And once you qualify these risks, again, high, medium, low importance, pitching the changes will be powerful in what you need to do instead. Again, there's probably somebody out there that is on the receiving side of what you're doing. And if they are there, having a well placed story on why you need to delay, change, or delete the activity is important because you probably will be respected more for having the courage to take those decisions than those of just continuing on. All I want to do is make this simple for you. So again, go back to the top, put the columns of what should I continue to do? What might I start doing that'll help me with those things that I want to continue? And if I do want to stop or change something, put that also in a column and maybe seek some buy-in and support. So when you finally take those challenging decisions, you have the support and the justification. And so this was a hard episode for me because when we get to the end of the year, and we realize we can't accomplish everything, having the courage to reflect on what we could, should, or not do is powerful. And what you have at the end of the day is to be able to pat yourself on the back to say you had the courage to pivot and lead in another direction. Again, people are watching you and they will follow your lead and they will admire you for when you come forth, when you reprioritize, when you pivot with the justification. You're the leader they want to follow. You are the leader you need to be. And so, with everything, tag your it. It is up to you to take what I have shared with you in the last few minutes and move it to action. If this is you, take a moment to do this. If this is you and you say, "Deb, I get it, I get it, I get it, but I need some help, reach out to me. A 30-minute conversation with me is all we might need to get you going in the right direction. Again, I do it because I care about you. I want to give as much value to you as possible. Again, you can get in touch with me through the dropinceo.com website. Reach out to me, connect with me, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I am there. It is me answering all those inquiries. I'd be happy to meet with you. And if you are already a leader that understands the value of assessing the landscape and pivoting, but you know somebody on your team or another group that is struggling with this, reach out to them and share this podcast episode, or maybe tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, reach out to Deb, the drop in CEO. She has some thoughts that might be very helpful. Again, I need your help to be able to reach the collective. I need your help to be able to reach those C-suite leaders that are having problems navigating. They may know what's right, but don't have the capacity or capability to do it. If you are simply looking to have a seat at the table, whether it's a C-suite level or not, I'm here to help you. Again, the episodes are here so you can do it yourself, but I am also a resource for you. And I'm asking for you to reach out to me if this is you. But I also would always love feedback. If you like these episodes, please continue. Return next week for another episode of the Drop In CEO podcast. I'm Deb Coviello, your host. I am sincerely grateful that you have joined us. I hope these tips are helpful, and I do wish you continued success and be well.